You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions. You do everything as if it were the last thing you were doing in your life and stop being aimless. Stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. Stop being hypocritical, self-centered, irritable. People try to get away from it all, to the country, to the beach, to the mountains, which is idiotic. You can get away from it any time you like, by going within. Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. To love only what happens, what was destined, no greater harmony. Is any man afraid of change? What can take place without change? What then is more pleasing or more suitable to the universal nature? And can you take a hot bath unless the wood for the fire undergoes a change? And can you be nourished unless the food undergoes a change? And can anything else that is useful be accomplished without change? Do you not see then that for yourself also to change is just the same and equally necessary for the universal nature? When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. You can commit injustice by doing nothing, to accept without arrogance, to let it go with indifference. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. When jarred, unavoidably by circumstance, revert at once to yourself, and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. You'll have a better grasp of harmony if you keep going back to it. The true man is revealed in difficult times. So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler whom God, like a trainer, has paired with a tough young buck. For what purpose? To turn you into Olympic-class material. But this is going to take some sweat to accomplish. There were two vices much blacker and more serious than the rest. Lack of persistence and lack of self-control. Persist and resist. People with a strong physical constitution can tolerate extremes of hot and cold. People of strong mental health can handle anger, grief, joy, and the other emotions. A person's worth is measured by the worth of what he values. Your three components, body, breath, mind. Two are yours in trust. To the third alone you have clear title. Most of us dread the deadening of the body and will do anything to avoid it. About the deadening of the soul, however, we don't care one iota. The object in life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Think not so much of what you lack as of what you have, but of the things that you have, select the best, and then reflect how eagerly you would have sought them if you did not have them. All our efforts must be directed towards an end, or we will act in vain. If it is not the right end, we will fail utterly. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. You don't have to turn this into something, it doesn't have to upset you. Marcus Aurelius. To live a good life, we have the potential for it. If we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Marcus Aurelius. It's silly to try to escape other people's faults. They are inescapable. Just try to escape your own. Marcus Aurelius. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Marcus Aurelius. Because most of what we say and do is not essential. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. It's unfortunate that this has happened. No. It's fortunate that this has happened, and I've remained unharmed. Marcus Aurelius. You're better off not giving the small things more time than they deserve. Marcus Aurelius. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. It's all in how you perceive it. You're in control. You can dispense with misperception at will, like rounding the point. Marcus Aurelius. It's a disgrace in this life when the soul surrenders first while the body refuses to. Marcus Aurelius. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Marcus Aurelius. Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, for the human spirit is colored by such impressions. Marcus Aurelius. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. Marcus Aurelius. Take a good hard look at people's ruling principle, especially of the wise, what they run away from and what they seek out. Marcus Aurelius. Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Marcus Aurelius. Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. Marcus Aurelius. Natural ability without education has more often raised a man to glory and virtue than education without natural ability. Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind, for the soul is dyed by the thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Anger cannot be dishonest. To the wise, life is a problem. To the fool, a solution. Marcus Aurelius. Despise not death, but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else. Marcus Aurelius. Death is a release from the impressions of the senses and from desires that make us their puppets, and from the vagaries of the mind, and from the hard service of the flesh. Marcus Aurelius. Because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it impossible for anyone to accomplish. Marcus Aurelius. Confine yourself to the present. Marcus Aurelius. Perhaps there are none more lazy or more truly ignorant than your everlasting readers. Marcus Aurelius. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. Reject. Your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. Marcus Aurelius. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Marcus Aurelius. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. A man's worth is nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and truly all that comes under thy observation in life. Marcus Aurelius. Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. Marcus Aurelius. Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. Marcus Aurelius. Look back over the past with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. Marcus Aurelius. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Marcus Aurelius. Anything in any way beautiful derives its beauty from itself and asks nothing beyond itself. Praise is no part of it, for nothing is made worse or better by praise. Marcus Aurelius. The universe's transformation, life is opinion, Marcus Aurelius. Each day provides its own gifts. Marcus Aurelius no greater than his ambitions. Marcus Aurelius, so be content to seem what you really are. Marcus Aurelius. To understand the true quality of people, you must look into their minds and examine their pursuits and aversions. Marcus Aurelius. Death, like birth, is a secret of nature. Marcus Aurelius. A man should be upright, not be kept upright. Marcus Aurelius. We are too much accustomed to attribute to a single cause that which is the product of several, and the majority of our controversies come from that. Marcus Aurelius. When thou art above measure angry, bethink thee how momentary is man's life. Marcus Aurelius. Let it be your constant method to look into the design of people's actions and see what they would be at, as often as it is practicable. And to make this custom the more significant, practice it first upon yourself. Marcus Aurelius. To live happily is an inward power of the soul. Marcus Aurelius. Where a man can live, he can also live well. Marcus Aurelius. Forward, as occasion offers. Never look round to see whether any shall note it. Be satisfied with success in even the smallest matter, and think that even such a result is no trifle. Marcus Aurelius. What springs from earth dissolves to earth again, and heaven-born things fly to their native seat. Marcus Aurelius. Aptitude found in the understanding and is often inherited. Genius coming from reason and imagination, rarely. Marcus Aurelius. Whatever the universal nature assigns to any man at any time is for the good of that man at that time. Marcus Aurelius. The universal order and the personal order are nothing but different expressions and manifestations of a common underlying principle. Marcus Aurelius. Each thing is of like form from everlasting and comes round again in its cycle. Marcus Aurelius. And thou wilt give thyself relief, if thou doest every act of thy life as if it were the last. Marcus Aurelius. Everything that exists is in a manner the seed of that which will be. Marcus Aurelius. Men exist for the sake of one another. Marcus Aurelius. There is nothing happens to any person but what was in his power to go through with. Marcus Aurelius. I have very intense feelings of joy or sadness. I used to not like that so much because I was worried it was girly, and I wanted to be more stoic. I think this happens a lot. When you're 16, there are qualities you wish you didn't have, and then when you're 30, you're like, oh, thank God I have that. Otherwise, I'd be living less vividly. Marcus Aurelius. An aristocratic culture does not advertise its emotions. In its forms of expression, it is sober and reserved. Its general attitude is stoic huizinga. I'm basically a stoic person anyway. So I just decided to maybe emphasize that, and I was surprised as anybody that it was gaining as much attention as all the jumping about. I practice stoic philosophy. As a human being, you may have emotions, but these don't need to affect your soul. The two are not one. I'm always playing someone grumpy or sad or grieving or downtrodden or stoic. As people get to know me within the industry, they know it's completely the opposite of what I'm like because I am a hyperactive, energetic ball. Marcus Aurelius. My childhood was very difficult. I had every childhood disease. And then some, but my parents didn't mollycoddle me. They left me to fight those battles on my own. I guess that was very Canadian, very stoic. But it's good. I had to become a warrior. I had to give up hope and find a substitute for hope that would be far more stable. Everybody was a Democrat where we grew up. It was a blue-collar town and the Democrats represented the working class and the unions. But very, very super conservative Catholic, very proud immigrant community. Very stoic. I've sat in sushi bars, really fine ones. And I know how hard this guy worked, how proud he is. I know you don't need sauce. I know he doesn't even want you to pour sauce. And I've seen customers come in and do that. And I've seen him, as stoic as he tries to remain, I've seen him die a little inside. To become a stoic is to endorse the truthfulness of its worldview and accept its prescription for how you ought to live, not just to like how it makes you feel. In my early to mid-20s, A fear of confrontation made it difficult for me to end relationships in a mature or even quasi-sane way. Instead, I would hang on resentfully, praying that my doom bow would end things first and spare me the displeasure. To add hindrance to hang up, the men I chose were usually just as stoic as I was. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. 2. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Think constantly on the changes of the elements into each other, for such thoughts wash away the dust of earthly life. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Think of the life you have lived until now as over and as a dead man. See what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own, for what could be more fitting? Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Let men see, let them know, a real man who lives as he was meant to live. Try praying differently and see what happens. Instead of asking for a way to sleep with her, try asking for a way to stop desiring to sleep with her. Instead of a way to get rid of him, try asking for a way to not crave his demise. Instead of a way to not lose my child, try asking for a way to lose my fear of it. The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. I have learned to read with diligence, not to rest satisfied with a light and superficial knowledge, nor quickly to assent to things commonly spoken of. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. It is the responsibility of leadership to work intelligently with what is given, and not waste time fantasizing about a world of flawless people and perfect choices. The mind freed from passions is an impenetrable fortress. A person has no more secure place of refuge for all time. That cucumber is bitter, so toss it out. There are thorns on the path. Then keep away. Enough said. Why ponder the existence of nuisance? A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Related. 30. Money affirmations and mantras. Let each thing you would do, say, or intend be like that of a dying person. The best answer to anger is silence. Give thyself leisure to learn some good thing, and cease roving and wandering to and fro. Because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it impossible. You have been formed of 3 parts, body, breath, and mind. Of these, the first 2 are yours insofar as they are only in your care. The third alone is truly yours. Don't return to philosophy as a taskmaster, but as patients seek out relief in a treatment of sore eyes, or a dressing for a burn, or from an ointment. Regarding it this way, you'll obey reason without putting it on display, and rest easy in its care. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks. No random actions, none not based on underlying principles. Keep a list before your mind of those who burned with anger and resentment about something, of even the most renowned for success, misfortune, evil deeds, or any special distinction. Then ask yourself, how did that work out? Smoke and dust, the stuff of simple myth trying to be legend. Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. For when you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Stay calm and serene regardless of what life throws at you. Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere, with no hypocrisy or faking. For what can even the most malicious person do if you keep showing kindness and, if given the chance, you gently point out where they went wrong, right as they are trying to harm you? How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is harmed. Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. All you need are these: certainty of judgment in the present moment, action for the common good in the present moment, and an attitude of gratitude in the present moment for anything that comes your way. It is essential for you to remember that the attention you give to any action should be in due proportion to its worth, for then you won't tire and give up if you aren't busying yourself with lesser things beyond what should be allowed. Don't be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to fulfill just like a soldier on the wall of battle. So what if you are injured and can't climb up without another soldier's help? Whatever anyone does or says, for my part, I'm bound to the good. In the same way, an emerald or gold or purple might always proclaim, whatever anyone does or says, I must be what I am and show my true colors. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. Pass through this brief patch of time in harmony with nature and come to your final resting place gracefully, just as a ripened olive might drop, praising the earth that nourished it and grateful to the tree that gave it growth. I learned to read carefully and not be satisfied with a rough understanding of the whole, and not to agree too quickly with those who have a lot to say about something. Life is short. The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. Wherever a person can live, there one can also live well. That which isn't good for the hive isn't good for the bee. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Here is a rule to remember in future, when anything tempts you to feel bitter. Not, this is misfortune, but to bear this worthily is good fortune. Live out your life in truth and justice, tolerant of those who are neither true nor just. We live only now. Everything else is either past or is unknown. To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. What we do now echoes in eternity. Understand at last that you have something in you more powerful and divine than what causes the bodily passions and pulls you like a mere puppet. What thoughts now occupy my mind? Is it not fear, suspicion, desire, or something like that? It isn't manly to be enraged. Rather, gentleness and civility are more human and therefore manlier. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. This is the mark of perfection of character, to spend each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, laziness, or any pretending. Every living organism is fulfilled when it follows the right path for its own nature. The universe is transformation. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. For it is in your power to retire into yourself whenever you choose. Your days are numbered. Use them to throw open the windows of your soul to the sun. If you do not, the sun will soon set, and you with it. Receive without conceit, release without struggle. You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. There is no nature which is inferior to art, for the arts imitate the nature of things.